And for the next 7 days, I'm gonna be using 0 social media.
Most people know that dopamine is involved in pleasure to some extent or another. And nowadays, people are starting to appreciate that dopamine is also intimately involved with motivation, drive, and pursuit. Dopamine is critical for overcoming procrastination, for ensuring ongoing motivation, and indeed for ensuring confidence. Dopamine is what's called a neuromodulator, which simply refers to the fact that it's a chemical that modulates or changes the electrical activity of other cells. And the cells I'm referring to are neurons.
Crazy transition. It's right after 6 in the morning. Bad head on my bike ride. I slept really good for the most part. My sleep was a 7 out of 10. The night before was better, and also I literally started taking magnesium during this detox by chance. So it's gonna kind of alleviate all results of improved sleep from dopamine, but we'll give the credit to the dopamine. It's 80 degrees out. So we got a couple goals today. A, we really need to dip into that book. 30 to 50 pages a day is a lot. That's a lot of pages. Like that takes a lot of time. Like last night I probably spent 25, 30 minutes reading like less than 20 pages. It takes me well over a minute to read a page. So I'm gonna make some coffee right now. I got like what, 2 more days left of coffee. I might go for a swim. During this process, I'm also trying to spend more time on myself. Not only do I wanna feel more joy, but I wanna put it to the test. Something as simple as going swimming at Kiki, who obviously used to live here, his new apartment, will feel so much more enjoyable because I'm not so consumed with the little bullshit dopamine. I don't know what I'm saying. My arm hurts. We're going to see my actually current roommate's apartment, other apartment that he also has, but doesn't come stay at my apartment. The best part of this whole thing is that my other roommate, who's not going to be my roommate for that long, used to live in this building, and then the other roommate left the 2 roommates to come to his old roommate's building. You know what I mean? Yeah, you get it. Oh wait, this is so nice, Kiki. What the fuck?
Like it, right? Alexa, stop.
Wait, guys, Kiki's living lavish out here. Give us the tour.
Okay, well, this is the living room.
This is where you live.
Yeah, this is where I cook.
You're such a bachelor. And it's clean. Who would have ever known?
I kept it clean so far.
It's your guest room or your room? Why is this bed like a triple, like this is the biggest bed I've ever seen.
Bathroom.
Okay. Wait, Kiki, this is so nice. It's got some art up here. It's got whatever the fuck that is. That's where you... Kiki, you need some more stuff in here, dude. It's a little bland.
I know, I don't have any yet.
That's good though. I like that. Happiness is too low.
These are real plants, but this one's already dying. I've only had it for a while. Look at it. I think I overwatered it.
Kiki. Oh, you got a little balcony? Furnished well, like this lamp? Yeah, it's good. Oh, wow. Guest room?
Yeah.
Office. But how do you set guests? Just you'll post them up like right here?
Our mattress if people want to stay over.
I want to stay over. I want to sleep over. Okay.
You know what kind of couch this is? A staging couch. This is a couch that is not real. You just look at it. Yeah, it's a little small.
If you wanted to cuddle someone here, it's not happening. Let's go to the pool. I need change.
Oh, the camera's rolling.
Dude, you got pranked.
I didn't realize.
Did you say anything mean under your breath?
No, I said.
Imagine he's just looking over. You little bitch. We're going to the library.
We're going to the library.
As if I haven't done enough reading today. All I've done today is read.
That's all you've done.
I literally woke up, I went to a coffee shop, and I read. I went to Kiki's new pool, and I went in the pool, and I read.
You read.
Oh,
the library is a great place to just get it done.
And to pick up chicks. So I'm just kidding.
I don't want to go to work. I just want to go home.
I just thought in my head that'd be funny, and it was, in my opinion. A couple things this morning. A, we're gonna dive into what we've learned so far in our book about dopamine. B, we're gonna learn what AI has taught me about dopamine. And C, I'm gonna go into the format of what we're gonna be removing from our life as this journey goes on. We're on day 3, so we've got 4 more days left, not including today. So far, we've only removed social media. I'm tired. I'm literally so out of shape, I guess, even though I ran this morning. So, kind of had a feeling this would happen, but I usually go on runs if I'm not on my bike, and this morning I was like, I'm gonna go on a walk, a really far walk, but a walk. And I started running, so I ran back. It's good. I honestly need to get back into running still, so it's like, if I was a completed runner, that'd be fine, but I'm not, so it's good. Now, typically the two other things that I would have removed already is alcohol, drugs, do drugs, and pornography. I have not watched pornography in over 6 months. I have not drank alcohol in nearly 6 months, and then that was just one time I drank on New Year's, and then another 3 months, so almost 9 months hypothetically. Those are things that I normally would cut out. And honestly, it's a 7-day span, so like, does your average person drink once every 7 days? Maybe not even. Right? Now, the next thing I'm gonna be cutting out is gonna be caffeine, so that we can experience a very dopamine limited day to day. As the entire goal of this detox is to reset those dopamine systems where the little things in life are bringing me enjoyment again. Watching the sunset, going on a walk. As it's day 3, I can already explain, and I will explain, the ways it makes you feel when you stop. I think the biggest thing and the primary focus of this detox is social media. I think social media is the most toxic form of quick fix dopamine, and I think in my life it affects me the worst because I don't have a very dopamine focused life, and I've actually been struggling a lot with it because of ADHD, which is again another thing we will get into. But here's what I've learned so far. Before I get into how this detox has slowly changed the way I feel, the way I'm sleeping, and all these other things, I want to go into the book a little bit. So The Molecule More, I chose that book because it seemed more so appropriate to the detox. It seemed like the information it was going to give was going to help me understand how dopamine works. By the end of the book, be able to relate it to the detox, to understand what it's doing to my body when we eliminate these quick fix dopamine hits out of our life. Now we're about a quarter way through the book. What it's really been focusing on the macro has been addiction, how it affects relationships, and in reality, how the human brain switches between dopamine, which is essentially the molecule that is never satisfied. It's predicated on the future, on the unknown, on the unexpected, rather than what they call H and N's, highs and lows, which is essentially your oxytocin, your endorphins, and all those other molecules that are more focused on the now, on the experience of what you're going through at this current moment of time, what you're enjoying, what is in front of you, what is accessible. And to give an example that the book uses to help you understand the difference is when you're in a relationship and you get into the relationship. So you're in that lust phase, that honeymoon phase, you're experiencing dopamine. Dopamine is the drive because dopamine is planning out the unexpected future with this person and the excitement and where is this relationship gonna go? What is gonna happen tomorrow? The chase, the desire, essentially, right? And that's why you feel these crazy hits of dopamine at the beginning of a relationship. It's why you fall in love. It's why a relationship then hits a point where you're experiencing that same thing over and over again, and because dopamine is never satisfied, you get used to it. And now where a successful long-term relationship differs from a relationship that just abruptly ends because the feelings aren't there or whatever it may be, is those high and low, those H and N molecules, endorphins, oxytocin, again, there's a lot of them to name. You have to transition more into the molecules of now, right? Those, I like to call them the grace molecules, the appreciation molecules. Essentially, you have to transfer from that lust and that desire into appreciation for now what you have for that person, for those experiences you share. Again, the relationship concept is a perfect differentiation between dopamine and those other molecules because dopamine, like I said, is never satisfied. And so if you get in a relationship and you allow dopamine to operate indefinitely, the relationship will come to an end. Dopamine is both a very powerful molecule for moving you forward, for activating progress. It's also a chemical that wears off after time. If the unexpected becomes the expected, you no longer get those fixed dopamine. That's why when you go on social media, you have this weird feeling of like, I wonder what is in my notification box. I wonder what this person is doing, is because you find enjoyment in the unexpected. If you knew exactly what they were doing, or if you knew exactly what DMs were in your inbox, you wouldn't get excited to check social. And so when you're in a relationship, it differentiates between dopamine and that point you hit where you've spent so much time with this person, the relationship becomes more predictable, and now you have to take a moment to transfer over to those other hormones where you can appreciate what is happening, your time together, that person's personality, what you guys loved in each other initially. That's where longevity comes, because those are molecules that appreciate what's going on. It's the molecules that make you have fun when you're doing an activity you've done 1,000 times, but you still enjoy doing. So right now I'm really learning the differentiation between dopamine and those other molecules and really understanding how dopamine works. And it's cool because in the book they use a lot of examples predicated on actual tests done with mice, done with monkeys and animals for humane reasons that give a really clear understanding of what happens if you give an animal something over and over and over again, and how does their behavior change based on their desire, based on the expectation versus the excitement and the unknown, right? And all these things. And I don't want to get too scientific, but how I've related it to the detox so far is in cutting out this quick fix dopamine, I'm now more able to find desire in the little things, right? Like the unexpected of what is tonight's sunset gonna look like. And it's gonna be repetitive in the examples I use of where I can now find dopamine, but like sitting still with myself and my thoughts without any stimulation and not knowing what's to come, not knowing what discoveries I'm gonna make about myself. Those little things can be so enjoyable, but aren't when you're killing your dopamine system daily with the stupid shit and the social media, the drinking, pornography, whatever it may be. And I'm slowly starting to experience that desire again, which can fuel progress in my life. And at the same time, I'm able to focus more of my attention onto those H&N, those here and now molecules, where I can appreciate the little things more in the now. Like, what's really going on now? I don't always need to be living in the future. That fuels progress, but again, it's never satisfying. So it's good to have desires, but I listened to something recently on a podcast that was incredible, is desire is a contract to yourself to be unhappy until that desire is fulfilled. So if you have all these desires, you've made a million contracts with yourself to be unhappy until they're fulfilled. It's not bad to have desire, but keep one main desire in your life and hopefully keep it passion predicated or fulfillment predicated, where that desire fuels progress, but you're content with everything else going on in your life. Because the now is really all that's happening. I'm a fucking scientist.
And if we can understand a little bit about how our recent dopamine history, that is, whether or not there is dopamine in our system already, dictates whether or not we are going to feel motivated in the next 5, 10, 15 minutes, hours, days.
I actually went shopping today, which is the first time in a very long time. Honestly, this has been the most leisure week of my entire life, which is actually perfect for this experiment, should we call it. I bought some clothes. I never buy clothes. I'm honestly just really enjoying my mood right now. I'm also going through a tough time with a lot of personal stuff that's happening that I haven't really mentioned. And so that's another reason why I thought this was a good week for this. But I'm about to head to the gym right now. I usually have rice cakes with non-fat Greek yogurt before I go, just so I have some carbs in me, not a lot of calories. Very simple. They're just like little cakes. We'll call them Gains cakes. So I had every business filming this clip without a nose strip on, but I was like, I'm not ashamed. Breathing's a part of the dopamine system, I'm sure. I'll try to make this actually quick. Quick update on how I'm feeling. Just general, how is a lack of social media entirely in my life affected me? How have my dopamine levels felt? How has my happiness level felt? Blah, blah, blah. I feel really good. The first thing I've noticed the most is sleep. I've been sleeping phenomenally. And for the first 2 nights I took magnesium, which like I said, I just unfortunately decided to start taking them as soon as I took this, which was throwing off the results in relation to dopamine. And last night I ended up not taking magnesium and I still slept great. I don't know if dopamine is having an effect on my sleep, but I can definitely say that phone usage is having an effect on my sleep, however that may be. Because I'm not scrolling social media, I'm literally not using my phone before bed at all, which means I'm literally consuming, I don't know if you can consume blue light. I'm not taking in any blue light. Second thing I've noticed is my ability to sit in silence and sit with myself is increasing dramatically. I do spend actually a lot of time during the day doing more mundane activities. I spend a lot of time reading. I spend a lot of time just sitting and listening to a podcast while I eat food because I can't consume anything visually. It's so habitual for me to, every time I'm consuming a meal at my house, to open up my laptop and watch a YouTube video, or I would say turn on the TV, but I don't do that. Being forced to sit with yourself more is essentially more like micro meditations throughout the day. Being, like I said, that I'm in monk mode, I have been meditating every day as well. And so all these things are helping to balance my base levels of dopamine, which during this entire thing, I'm also prioritizing nearly everything I can do to keep the base level of dopamine as dialed in as possible. And so that goes along the lines of sleep, that goes along the lines of morning sunlight, trying not to have too many crazy spikes in my dopamine levels, resulting in troughs, crashes essentially, for better use of wordage for you guys. Meditation. Supposedly meditation, just traditional meditation, doesn't work. More so non-sleep deep rest, NSDR. I don't know really, it just kind of seems like a guided meditation to me. That seems to have an effect on baseline dopamine and a couple other things. And a lot of this, ironically, has been learned elsewhere. So I'm reading the book, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm learning a lot of other things. The book was kind of just something I wanted to do for fun, as well as an activity to keep me busy in the time when I'm not using my phone. Now, something that I'm still noticing is I have those habitual moments where I will open Instagram and I panic and just quickly exit out of it. I crave sweets randomly, which is weird. It seems like it's making up for the lack of dopamine I'm getting from my phone. My brain wants sweets or not necessarily caffeine. And again, these are just theories. I'm not sure if this is actually a relation, but I definitely am noticing my body fighting back to it a little bit. As much as I do feel good, it also is longing for those quick dopamine fixes that I'm no longer giving my body. So tomorrow we cut out caffeine. Tomorrow is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Is today day 4? I actually have no idea what's going on in life. I'm currently really deep in this book. I'm about over halfway, page 120 out of 220. So we've got 100 pages left to read. I'm not going to get a lot of pages in tonight because it's almost 9:30, which is when I'm going to bed, but that doesn't mean we're not going to get some pages in tomorrow. Good night.